Okay, so let's take a look at, the difference between a plasma membrane and a nuclear membrane. So let's say, well, I need my pen. Let's say this is a standard eukaryotic cell. This is the nucleus down here. So this right here, we would call this the plasma membrane or the cell membrane. There's so many different, there are often multiple terms for the same thing. So that's the plasma membrane. And we can call this one right here the nuclear membrane. Also sometimes called the nuclear envelope. And I will probably go back and forth between nuclear membrane and nuclear envelope throughout the semester, so just know that they mean the same thing. Now, you probably remember that the plasma membrane is what? So it consists of a double lipid bilayer, and what does that mean? So this is not my area of expertise, and I know it's kind of confusing, so I wanted to talk a little bit about this double lipid bilayer. So what does that mean? What does the double mean? Are there two membranes or not? So what am I diagramming here? So this is sort of a layer of lipids right here, these lipids that are found that form the plasma membrane. And there's another layer down here. And these little circles, that's like the hydrophilic end of these lipids. And the hydrophobic ends are the lines. And sometimes I think it's more accurate to draw these as two lines right here. But so right here, this is the bilayer right here. So this, we got two layers here, and these two layers are found, they form the plasma membrane. Now, when we talk about the nuclear envelope, we're going to have two of these things right here. So instead of diagramming that, let's see if I can copy and paste. Let's see, copy and paste. Oh, that worked. And I got something funny down here. I wanted to save that for later. Let me move that out of the way. So, okay, so here's one and another. So let's say we're zooming in with our microscope. We have a microscope here that can see the fine structure of this membrane here, and we're zooming in and we're looking at that. Now, outside of this one, we'll call this the outer membrane, we will have the cytoplasm. Inside of the inner membrane, we will have the nucleoplasm. So that's like all the fluid and stuff that's inside the nucleus. In between these two membranes, well, there's a space called the perinuclear space. Okay, so how do things get inside and get inside the nucleus and out of the nucleus? If we have these two membranes here, well, essentially there are pores. Let me erase this right here. So there are pores that go through both membranes. We're going to call these are called nuclear pores. And they're not open. They are, full of proteins that form the nuclear pore complex. And these proteins control what can go inside the nucleus and what can leave the nucleus. And there are some viruses that can insert DNA into our genomes, and some of these viruses have the ability to go through the nuclear pores. And some don't. Some can't go through the nuclear pores. So viruses that can't go through the pores, well, they need to wait for mitosis to break down the nuclear membrane, and then they can access our DNA. So that's a little extra information that I think is kind of interesting. Another thing, so I have these inner and outer membranes just sort of running into the pore. Well, scientists don't think it looks like that. They think it looks something like this. And here is that image or that diagram I had pre-prepared for us. So maybe I can enlarge this. Okay, so what are we looking at here? Essentially, here's the outer membrane. Here's the inner membrane of the nuclear envelope. Here's the perinuclear space. And you can see how it kind of folds around like that. And that's where we get our outer and inner membranes from. And then here's the nuclear pore right here. So, okay, I just wanted to touch on that. So the plasma membrane is going to look like this. One lipid bilayer there. And then the nuclear membrane is going to be this sort of double lipid bilayer. So 1 and 2.